Okay, welcome to, well, what actually should be OT6, but OT5 was such a long one that Steve decided to split it into two parts. So this is...
So we've had to do this intro all again.
I know. So it's now OT 5.2.
Part 2.
Or 5 part 2. So OT5 part 2. So what are we going to bring you this week? I can't remember what we're doing.
So this week, as promised last show, we're going to do the Chinese water deer down in Bedfordshire. So a wee bit down there.
And puppies. We're going to do a little bit of your puppies.
Yeah, a wee bit of puppies. And then we're going to have a little bit of my favourite subject.
Your favourite subject, Rab's favourite subject.
Yeah, my favourite subject to film as well. We're going to look at the bees, and then Chris is going to talk through why the bees are doing what they're doing and stuff like that. Some people love it.
You don't know this, but what I'm going to try and do is get him in a bee suit and actually film when I'm inspecting the bees. I'm not really, that's the first he knows about this, but I think with a bee suit on, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll have a look at that.
Yeah.
I'll try and persuade him to do that.
My only phobia. Only phobia. I can
Bees
do
and wasps.
dogs attacking me and stuff like that, but no.
Bees and wasps.
Snakes, spiders, not a problem. And then
got a review.
Yeah, so you're going to review the Infiray day-night vision.
Yeah, the TD70L V2. The Infiray kit, real nice bit of kit. So we'll have a look at that. And finally, we've got to remind everybody
of the competition giveaway. So guys, as before, competition will be running out in the next couple of weeks. So get commenting on below, like the Brandy Cost newsletter, and join their sort of subscription, and tag in a friend.
Got to be a good price to win. Anyway, enough from us talking rubbish. Basically, here we go. Starting off, Chinese water deer in Bedfordshire. Hope you enjoy it. Yeah, we're down in sunny Bedfordshire. Well, it is sunny Bedfordshire actually. Down here with some guys doing a bit of level 2 training. We're finished for the day. We've got an hour. I'm going to just go and have a look down the bottom here. Paul's had a bit of damage done to some oilseed rape crop and some of the winter barley on the bottom. There's quite a few deer congregating down there, so he's finished shooting in this particular area for a couple of days. There's a couple of cover crops down here. So he said if you get a chance, just nip down and have a look and maybe try and shoot at the cold Chinese water deer just to deter them a little bit. So that is the plan. We've maybe got an hour if we're lucky. So we're just going to nip down quickly and see if we can find anything. Really cold wind this. We've got a couple of options, or I've got a couple of options now. There's 4 Chinese water deer laid in the oilseed rape crop, which actually are now out of sight, so we'd have a fairly easy approach across the field behind the kind of hedge, and then probably have a shot into them. But I don't really want to go too close to Paul's cover crop. Birds will be starting to draw in now as it gets sort of duskish. I don't really want to disturb that. I'll let them settle. So what I think I'm going to do is going to walk along the bottom side here, but we're not going to disturb the crop. And there should be a little sheltered area just in the corner here. So Chinese water deer, like any other deer, cold wind, generally tucked in out the weather. So I'm pretty sure we'll find some deer out there. So I think that's the option that I'm going to take. Bear in mind that the light will go quickly. There's a biggish buck just running across the field there. They're not actually fully starting to rut yet. It's just started to see a little bit of a hint of the start of that. Some of the younger bucks are starting to get a bit playful and chasing around, and one or two of the bigger bucks I've seen just starting to pontificate a little bit, but they're certainly not fully rutting. But I reckon that's just about to kick off. So we should see some proper rutting activity over the next few days, hopefully. I'm not sure. That's quite a decent animal. That's going to make a good. That's actually going to make a decent cheek. So I think it's too good to shoot. I think there's, just carefully, because I think there's some around the corner. Okay, this is one of the difficulties with Chinese water deer stalking, and the guys that are really struggling with a little bit, is identifying what is a cull animal. It's worth taking a little bit of time and watching the deer. A couple of deer we saw earlier on which were going to make good animals, and they're already developing quite a bit of tusk. I mean, this will make a good animal if it's a youngster. So this is what we mean by a cull buck. So this is just a young Chinese water deer, tusk just emerging. Small animal, young animal, good condition. But these are the animals that Paul wants taking off at the moment, early season. Take a reasonably high percentage of the younger bucks, and then leave obviously a range of bucks to come through. And the reason that we're particularly on this field is you can just see beans emerging, just all starting to emerge as the colder weather comes now. The Chinese are going to start nibbling these, so potential for quite a lot of damage. So, you know, this is one of the fields that clearly, you know, wants to keep an eye on. and protect the crop just as it's coming through. Okay, for kind of safety now, I've underloaded the rifle basically, so I've emptied the rifle, checked it's clear, closed the bolt, put the magazine underneath with a full, you know, the remaining rounds in the magazine, but the rifle is not loaded. So I'm going to carry the Chinese now over to the nice sort of couple of deciduous trees over here. I'll just get a low branch, suspended gralloch, nice quick clean suspended gralloch into the row sack and then back to the larder, and then we'll clean it all up. Just before I remove the anus, what I want to show you here is the fat that's contained within the carcass. So if Steve just brings the camera around here, I mean, that is just incredible. I think to say what you're looking for in kidneys is encased in fat is an indication of good health. This just shows you. Look at the amount of fat through there. I mean, talk about good living. Nice clean pelvic area, suspended gralloch way forward. Very easy now, this deer gralloch itself. Pity Zosha's not here, she'd be loving those. She'll be able to watch it on a telly later on. And basically just lay off the diaphragm skirt. Massive shot damage, so you've got the entry just through the heart, skimmed spinal area, and then quite a large exit. This is the 6.5 by 55, and this is 120 grain Norma. Very good flat shooting round, and to be honest, on Chinese water deer often you're taking quite rangy shots because of the open nature of the fields, and you want something that's going to shoot flat. And it's a really good eating, these Chinese water. There's a lot of fat on them, more fat than I see on any other deer. The only one close to it would be Seeker, but they don't have the same amount of fat. The body fat and the suet in here is just unbelievable. But in these sort of conditions, eating falls pheasant food most of the time, plus these crops, and is there any wonder really why you've got, you know, beautiful conditions. They're a lovely deer actually, a pretty little deer. Not quite as pretty as my favourite roe, but they're alright.
Right guys, well, that's Chinese water deer down in Bedfordshire. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm actually looking forward to coming back down there in December to do some DSC level 2s.
Yeah, we've been going down there now, I don't know, it's long before you started actually, probably 12, 14 years. Great for level 2 stuff, so yeah, we're down there again. We'll no doubt do a bit of filming down there maybe.
Yep.
The chilled allows us to root free rein with the camera.
Yeah, and a wee trip over to Hertfordshire as well for the
Hertfordshire
muntjac and fallow.
Muntjac and fallow, so that'll be good. So we bring you a fair bit of that. And anyway, now I think puppies coming up.
Yeah, so buck and willow. Here we have buck and willow. All content and all fat and sleepy.
You know what? I think more people will watch the show to see the puppies than tuning in to you.
Yeah.
Puppies are better looking. And now we've got Rab's favourite subject, the bees.
Yeah,
a
guys.
bit more on bees.
Yeah, so this is Chris and his vast knowledge of, what's the word for beekeeping?
Well, it's yeah.
Apiary, is it an apiary?
It's an apiary, but the, yeah, okay, ask me one on sport.
See, his vast knowledge.
I've forgotten.
We'll get back to you on that one.
What the fuck are they called? I've had a complete blank. What is it?
Right, guys, so Chris and his vast knowledge in beekeeping.
I can't remember.
The actual proper name for beekeeping is called apiculture.
Apiculture. Ah, God. I know that. I knew that.
But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that little snippet there from the bees.
Make sure you cut that out, Steve. He'll not. No chance.
No, he's not.
Anyway, coming up, bees. Apiculture. That's beekeeping. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a little bit. Bees are busy actually. It's got quite warm now. It's quite humid. These are really. There's obviously a nectar and a pollen flow going on. Nectar primarily. So they're really, really active. So this is the workers going in and out, gathering the nectar to come back into the hive to make that lovely honey. Are you going coming across?
Nope. Yeah. I'll be staying right here because me and bees are not friends. Although I do like their honey.
So, right, what we got here, this is one of the colonies that's building, but you can see how busy the bees are on the other hives. Often when there's a pollen flow coming on, so you can see the little white, the back legs have got pollen sacs on them, so often it's yellow. You get all sorts of colours depending on what pollen they're gathering, and there's not a lot of pollen coming in there. There was earlier on, so the temperature now, there'll be plants around here at this temperature there'll be a lot of nectar being generated by those plants, so they're actually bringing pollen in. And if you took a microscope, in fact there's a few there with pollen on them now. If Rab can zoom in on the entrance to that hive, you can see the pollen sacs full on the back legs of a few of them, but primarily there isn't any, you're not seeing that on most of them, and most of the ones that you can't see any visible sign of anything in their sacs is honey. It's basically nectar coming in. So you can see, I hope you can see that anyway. Can you zoom into that hive?
Right, in fact, what I'll do, mate, I'll come in. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to be Mummy's brave little soldier.
You can actually see now, it's quite a reduced entrance block. You can see pollen on the bee on the left there, just about to go in. But most of them you can't see anything, and the ones that you can't see, most of those will have nectar in their sac. If it all goes shaky and quiet and screaming, it's Rab running away.
Yeah, I don't do bees. And wasps. Right guys, I hope you enjoyed them bees there. Obviously we've now established the fact that Chris knows nothing what he's talking about.
Absolutely nothing about anything.
Apiculture, yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Apiculture.
Right, apiculture. Right, so next what we're going to look at is Infiray day-night scope that you're going to do a review on.
Yep. kit. Had that with me. I've had that now probably 3 months. So just give me a few early thoughts on that bit of kit.
Here we go.
Okay, so what I want to do is just have a look and just a talk about the new Infiray day-night scope. Not massively familiar with day-night scopes, so it's a fairly new thing to me. But what I'm a great fan of is having a scope on a rifle that you can, it's multifunctional, you can use all the time. I don't do masses of foxing. I mean, I've got a guy, Rab, that loves that and he's good at it, so I'm always a great believer in leave people that know what they're doing to get on with it. But there are occasions when I need to do a little bit around here. For example, if we get a fox issue, I like to get out myself occasionally. So rather than having, a specific night scope, I want one that does, does both things. And technology's developed massively over the last few years, so I think you get a good sort of balance between both options, to use it during the day and use it at night. So this is the NVTD70L, the V2, so fairly new out from Infiray. What I like about kit is it needs to be user friendly, so I'm not interested in the technical aspects, I'm interested if it works. I've said this many times and this actually works. Very, very easy to set up. I don't use it very often for night work, as I've mentioned, but if you use it for night function, then obviously you've got an IR, very simple, just sits on the housing either side there, and obviously you can alternate and change that if you want, but the one that's supplied by Infiray was excellent when I set it up, so I got no problem with it. But most of the time I'm using the scope at the moment is during daylight. I don't like to be stalking with a facility to shoot at night on, because you come back late at night and people see that and they think you're whacking deer at night, and I'm not interested in that. You need a license to do that anyway, so I'm not interested. So my deer is shot during the daylight. So basically this is how I've been using the rifle, but that facility is there if I want to put it on for night work. So what do I like about it? It's easy, it's simple to use. You've got 70mm objective lens, you basically your front focused controls and dials here, very intuitive, easy to use. I like, this is detachable if you don't want this on, but I do like that, particularly obviously again if you're using it at night you can get your eye right into the cup, so that's great. And then you've got a focus wheel there. Controls are very, very functional. On off button is around this side here, simple press, and probably takes about 2 or 3 seconds for the unit to warm up. Internal battery, charges via a supplied USB port. Again, useful. One thing I will mention is the packaging is very good, and it always bodes well to me if something's packaged carefully and it's delivered and it's all nicely packaged in, it's all in its own little place, it's all correctly labelled. If people are taking a trouble to package a piece of kit properly, then generally the piece of kit that's in the box is good. So that's a little thing with me, and it's something that I look for, but I don't think you can fault the packaging. So that's one point about it. So actually using it, very, very easy to set up. You've got, the adjustment is 0.2 minutes of angle at 100 meters. Very, very fine tuning, so that gives you real accuracy. You've got the facility to freeze frame for your zero, so that was simplicity itself. Basically, first couple of shots, marking your zero, freeze your frame, and then you can move your zero back in. Very easy to set up, I like that. Sometimes with kit like this I've used, it's quite complex and there's lots of different, takes you flipping a year to work out how to actually move the thing around. This is really, really good, very intuitive. Little click on the button, move things by the dial, sort of move around through your menu, sub-menus, very simple, very straightforward. You don't really need to, read the manual 15 times to understand what you're doing. So that I certainly like about it. Simple to set up, attaches very comfortably. I found the whole thing really easy to operate, so I like it. I'll be sort of using this quite a lot over the next sort of few months, so we'll look at it further down the line, but my initial setup and my initial sort of use, I've probably had it out about, I don't know, 5 or 6 times during the day. The colour is very good, the focus is very good, and the image on record is excellent. One of the things we wanted to use this for is if we were filming is to use some of the material that we film through the internal sort of mechanism, if you like, on our clips. That was very good. You can download the Infiray app onto your phone, wireless, or your USB port clicks in under here to download it to a device or your computer. Extremely good. You've got a shot, if you like. You can set the thing to record on shot, so basically you're never going to miss anything. So that's a good facility. You can either have that on or off. You've also got a mic as well, so if you want to record sound, it's all on there. So all in all, pretty much anything you would want on the scope is there. Quite big dials, but you know, very tactile, easy to use. If you don't use your automatic sort of facility to record, just on the side of the scope here, in a natural position when you're actually using the rifle, you can just put your thumb on, press record, or take a photograph. So that's good. So this housing comes off to plug into your standard USB port. Everything works. Feels robust, feels solid. To me, it's the sort of thing that will take a bit of a whack if you drop the scope. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Particularly impressed with the record facility, and I am particularly impressed with the clarity when you look through the scope. Some of the other scopes I've looked through are not really that clear. This, you can dial it in and the images are very sharp. And the other thing that's good about it is a reticle. You've got multi options of reticle, multi colours and multi sort of brightness of that, so you can really get a reticle that kind of suits you. There's a couple of clips that will tag on to the end of this, which is when I was zeroing the rifle, so you'll see what I'm talking about. And also I think I've got a couple of clips on here where I was actually out returning from setting the rifle up. Actually, there was a nice roebuck on the hillside, and that was quite a distance away, so I recorded that, so you'll actually see, rather than me telling you, you can actually look at that and you can see for yourself. So all in all, good kit. Price range is excellent. And the other thing I need to mention is, if you want to get hold of one, the guys at Talon Gear can supply. So there you go. I like it. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the show. As always, keep the comments coming. It's great. We're getting masses and masses of feedback. It's giving loads of things to cover. We'd much rather be talking about things that you ask us to talk about rather than us just talking rubbish. We'll probably be talking rubbish anyway, but at least it's directed rubbish, and it's rubbish that you want. So keep that coming, keep watching, remember subscribe, keep liking, and don't forget, we're now coming up to almost the end of the competition. We'll be announcing the winner fairly soon, so just a reminder, make sure you
like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, our YouTube channel, like and subscribe to the Brandy Cost newsletter, and share to a friend down below in the comments.
Okay, so as always, it's good night from me. Thanks for watching, and it's good night from...
And it's a good night from him.
And remember, watch this space.
Cheers, guys.